kind of want to watch this. What is this?
What happens when a content creator, someone with millions of followers, decides to use their platform as a weapon? Not
The
only
soft
against...
take. Damn, this account has 1,000 subs, 50K views on this video. Holy shit.
trolls or content creators he doesn't like, but also against regular people who dare to criticize them.
At this point, you're totally f***ed. Here's the thing. We're going to get your IP address. We're going to find out your information. We have forensic, digital.
Ethan Klein has an interesting life. You know, go to work and hit the live button in your studio decked out with thousands of dollars worth of film production equipment. Producers left and right to chime in sometimes and hit the technical difficulty screen to save your ass when you say a few things you shouldn't say.
I don't know why I thought that. Apparently she did not have sex with Destiny, although it...
Maybe recklessly throw around a few claims here and there without anything to back it up.
They literally talk about doing psyops, faking posts, brigading, and all this shit. And I have 4 years of all of his chats. There's stuff in there that will put him in prison. I'm not even fucking kidding.
Okay, so apparently he has something to back it up. But I mean, it is kind of hard to trust his interpretation of what he sees, considering that he has proven in the past that he is incapable of interpreting things. He's not exactly the beacon of credibility.
I mean, because like it's not right. Like you want to, you think you're being the good guy and like you're just being a fucking bigot, bro.
The person he was claiming had sex with Epstein was Denims, by the way. Oh God. Oh, gross.
Oh, and also spread misinformation.
Yeah, the I have his logs that'll land him in prison. I think is about Bad Empanada,
Information to your massive platform as you please because you don't like someone.
That's what bad Hezbollah is. It's like a meme. Hezbollah in Hebrew means propaganda. And it's like a weird slur that people started picking up, calling just like Hezbollah means like a lying Jew, essentially.
It's funny. In this live stream from last night, he mischaracterizes the podcast, proving his interesting imagination. Apparently, Hezbollah means lying Jew, which clearly indicates anti-Semitic implications. Oh, but just so you know, guys, Ethan's telling a lie here. It's just a card Ethan loves to pull at every chance. Something to critique about me? You're an anti-Semite. Hezbollah actually comes from the Hebrew word for explaining. Matt Lieb, a Jewish man himself by the way, clarified this on his Twitter. You can also just find this out through any Wikipedia or dictionary. And after that, maybe also...
It's also the terminology that the Israeli government has landed on in terms of doing information warfare. That's the crazy part about it, is that it's not about like intentionally lying or whatever the fuck Ethan is saying, but it is precisely what like it is what the Israeli government hands out to organizations that go and give it out to, you know, campus protesters that are protesting for Israel. It's documented and deliberate. It's not like even sheltered or hidden. It's not like some secret conspiracy. It's just like openly what the Israeli government wants young Americans to do, specifically young American Jews.
Also drop a few bits of information to kind of suggest to your audience that you should go and tell a company, sponsor, or community that you come from the H3 podcast, if you know what I mean.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning. This guy is... Well,
yeah, the craziest part about this is that like Ethan would be like, I'm not a Zionist. Or then we'll turn around and be like, but all Jews are Zionists. And if you were talking about Zionists, you mean all Jews. But then literally we'll do the exact same thing that the fucking Canary Mission does. Okay? Straight up fascist groups immediately be like, this guy works here. This guy works there. I'm going to dox random fucking Redditors. I'm going to try to do fake lawsuits, like ridiculous, frivolous lawsuits with the hopes of getting your background information so I can fucking dox you and then keep telling all of your friends and family that you're a fucking anti-Semite. It's insane. Yeah, it's mental illness. No, the mental illness in this circumstance is Zionism. That's what it is. That's the real mental illness here. It's not like an additional different kind of mental illness. I'm sure, you know, there might be extra problems there as well. But yeah, this is when you are hopped up, when your brain just gets broken by fascist ideologies such as Zionism, you start behaving in this way. It fucking rots your brain. And you think that you're wokely on a conquest against anti-Semitism.
This guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome. He's evil. I mean, he is just a disgusting fucking piece of shit. And I think it's
I will not stop until everyone that has hurt Israel's feelings is fired from their jobs. Okay? I will not stop.
insane that
I mean, this is a guy who also actively petitioned to deplatform me, and when it didn't work, he fucking lost his mind even further.
Good Mythical Morning and hire somebody.
I mean, it works. Your fans show up to the brigade. They just aren't the sharpest.
Please watch the latest HT video and do your own research on your employees and who they're platforming and endorsing the views of. I hope Good Mythical Morning isn't condoning this behavior. Dude, seriously? After everything he has been doing to you put him on the show today? Bad Empanada fan club council meeting. Maybe get Bad Empanada on tomorrow.
Tools in the shed, though. You fool. He said that he works at Good Mythical Morning. He's not a guest. He's been working there since 2019. You've blown our cover now. I mean, look at this. They're brigading the video now. These are how many dislikes they got on a normal video.
Yeah, always. It's always so suspicious. Whoever Ethan has in his fucking crosshairs, they always, those videos, as soon as he talks about it, get mass disliked and mass comments. It's just everyone else is evil, okay? The guy who's operating a snark podcast, not evil. Everyone else actually that says, hey man, why don't you fucking do that? Why don't you stop doing that? Please stop doing this. This seems insane. Nope. Those are the people that are evil.
And here is the episode that came out after Ethan said
He works for Good Mythical Morning. This guy works for Good Mythical Morning. I mean, he is pro-terrorism. He's evil. He is just a disgusting fucking piece of shit.
Look at how many dislikes they have now. And the comments. And then, for good measure,
I'm sad to say it, but I don't think I can continue supporting Good Mythical Morning with what has happened regarding ML, Matt Lieb. I don't think Red and Link are bad people, but this seems like a very unwise choice to continue their work with someone who is willing to platform harassment and lies. Why is your employee platforming pro-terror content on his podcast? Yeah, dude. Good Mythical Morning is going to fucking fire their Jewish producer for being an anti-Zionist. This is how we're combating anti-Semitism, okay? Not a single Jew will maintain their job as long as they are not unconditionally pro-Israel. This is how I will fight against anti-Semitism. It's psychotic. It's so insane.
recklessly throw another comment.
When she comes out, please.
What are they just watching an Israeli showing clothing and shitting on her? Like, is that what they're actually doing?
Even though they're
This is also so incredibly consistent where he just like refuses to seek out the context of what they're doing and just angrily scrolls through it. And it's just like, yeah, I've decided this is fucked up. I've decided this is hateful. Also, I'm going to call a Jewish anti-Zionist, two Jewish anti-Zionists, okay? Two Jewish anti-Zionists, token Jews. And without a shred of irony, without even a shred of consideration for what that implies, you know, just going to call them bad Jews. Nice, dude. Yeah, definitely. Definitely combating anti-Semitism big time here.
They're actually watching a TikTok of a woman in New York who wants to sell clothing that she named after individual hostages, and then call it a day at work. And then make some Instagram stories too. Ethan and Hila have built an empire. Millions of subscribers, a dedicated fan base. With that kind of influence comes responsibility. But instead of using it wisely, they manipulate it. When you recklessly throw around unchecked claims, some people are going to believe you. The audience takes what he says at face value, or sometimes not everybody is able to listen to every moment of the podcast. Look at what he says here.
And he's bringing on somebody that wants to kill my wife, unironically.
Ooh, I gotta go. That's all I can watch. I'm late for my hot dog eating contest.
Wait,
but
what?
damn, he tried to kill his wife? Here's what you would have seen and heard if you didn't tune out.
Or in a video game. But I do think, I mean, he is pro-terrorism.
The real problem is that it just
Wait,
doesn't
what?
stop with words. His audience absorbs the tone, the narrative, and the hostility. When you alter reality, when you mislead millions, when you encourage mob behavior, whether directly or indirectly, you're not only an entertainer, you're an abuser of power. So today, we're exposing how Hila and Ethan weaponize their influence and why it needs to stop.
If we can't have like words that we can all agree on, how are we ever going to talk about anything?
That's a great point, Hila. Let's first define some words to fully grasp what we're dealing with here. If this is your first time on Earth, there's this thing people often like to do called...
What is this? Genuinely stunned at this. He's not mentally with us, like, at all. Understand that when Hassan accuses me of being obsessed with him, that he does this type of shit 10x per day. And when I eventually respond that this is why... Yeah, that's right. I'm obsessive, dude. Is correct. He got me. Yeah. Me obsessively defending myself against a rapacious, relentless stream of smears and demands for deplatforming. Really fucked up.
Abuse of power. This is the abuse of a position of power in order to harm other people, to bully them, or place them at advantage in order to procure personal advantages for oneself or one's favorites. Doxing describes the search for and publishing private or identifying information about a...
You were right, though. Che did not kill a 12-year-old. Where did that nonsense even come from? Prager you. Who the fuck do you think? Some fucking insane right-wing garbage platform that Ethan is consuming that he didn't even actively consume. He just saw on the corner of his eye somewhere.
Particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. Doxing is a common tool used by dictatorships and authoritarian regimes to silence dissent, intimidate opponents, and control the population.
Yeah, if you're not obsessive, then why is your name all over his Insta stories for the last months? You're right. I want to apologize to Ethan Klein. I want to apologize to Ethan Klein for existing and also being an advocate for Palestinian emancipation, and doing that was obviously a mistake, because that caused them to basically do an Instagram story on me every single day and then talk about me on every single podcast, and even hire new employees that apparently also actively about and my political positions, like basically just reformatting the show in a way where we're just going to sit there and lie about shit that either Hassan is saying or lie about political issues that he cares about, you know? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was looking like a snack and that caused you to fucking lose your mind a little bit and talk about me basically every day.
Just to be clear, I am just defining phrases here.
I think he just needs to take a break.
Ethan frequently makes petty and accused.
I'm so obsessed. That's why Ethan took his content flop and brought it onto Twitch and has just been cycling it on repeat to like 20 people every day to an increasingly smaller audience of people as his follower count diminishes.
Accusatory remarks about Hassan, some of which veer into exposing aspects of his private life. He tries to expose that he might have a secret girlfriend, or how he is certain he has a housekeeper that he doesn't pay appropriately to socialist standards, and also that he communicates with her over.
Also, the part about this that he deleted because he was like, you know, because his fans yelled at him over this shit. But the other side of this, oh my God. The other side of this that is so insane is that he only talks about this stuff when there's shit going on in his life. Like, he was being sued by his maid. So he's like, yeah, guess what, dude? This is what's going on.
For a translator.
So I dropped a bomb on Instagram stories yesterday that
Thanks for the
since
bomb.
our friendship was a farce, I have zero problem discussing these things. I put out a question before, who's making his chicken? People have been wondering what's making his chicken. His fans and supporters say it's his mom, which is, they really think his mom is just slaving away all day. A grown-ass woman with a job.
For someone who claims to watch enough of my content, I find it rather shocking that Ethan didn't hit me on what actually he could get motion on, which is that I'm a serial abuser of Uber Eats. Okay? Like, that's what's so funny about this process is that he thinks that I have like a permanent live-in maid that's cooking me every day and then making fucking food and placing it in various different containers, such as plastic containers that have Ono Hawaiian barbecue on it, like branded. Good stuff.
Who apparently just got a PhD. Like, she's like a real ass person with a life. She's just at home cooking chicken for her son all day. So
Anne. Gel bir gelsene. Gel bir. I want you to just wave at the camera from over there if you can. There you go. No, just no reason. I just wanted you to. There's people who question whether or not you're at my house. Don't worry about it. All right. It's okay. You can go back to your work. Okay, well, now you got Kaya riled up. Okay. Kaya, place.
they're calling me a liar, which is good because it means that if it's true, which it is, it might affect their opinion of him. I met her. She's a lovely Hispanic lady. She doesn't speak English. She cleans and cooks, works full time, I believe. Hassan grunts and uses Google to talk to her. Because I was shocked, frankly, when I saw her. So I asked him questions. I was like, is she, I think she's undocumented, which is, I don't know for sure, but that was my impression. To take advantage of people, I would have gone and got myself an undocumented worker to clean my house.
And on top of that, he demands Hassan to reveal his supposed housekeeper's wage. While Ethan spreads this misguided narrative around, here is a Twitch streamer who's also been to Hassan's house.
Cinderella, Austin, Will.
I've been there! Wait, am I not a real Hassan friend? Did I not get the full Hassan house experience? Am I not cool enough to meet the enslaved migrant Hispanic, only Spanish-speaking housekeeper who's undocumented?
Could it be that Ethan just saw Hassan's mom, took one look at her, and assumed that she's an undocumented migrant worker that can't speak English?
My suspicion on this, because I asked my mom about this, I was like, were you there? Did you meet Ethan? And I don't think she met Ethan. So my suspicion is most likely that Ethan met one of the contractors that my mom from time to time will bring over. There's also a person that does handyman work around the house. It's not just Marat. Every now and again, when shit's broken, I have landscapers that I also have contracted. Okay? A guy that comes in once a week to work on the pool. Like that in and of itself, I think, tilted him in this direction.
Just want to quickly say, I have been to a Turkish household before, and yes, it is absolute that a Turkish mother will cook an entire meal for their child.
Yeah, but the notion that my mom isn't around or isn't cooking me fucking meals every now and then is ridiculous. Genuinely.
Even when their son is like a fully grown adult. But that isn't the point. It isn't about whether Hassan has a housekeeper or not. Maybe he does. Who cares? The real issue is that Ethan is spreading a baseless claim, prying into Hassan's private life in bad faith. Personal matters like this aren't public property, and being a public figure doesn't erase someone's right to privacy.
How does it feel to have a mom who loves you? I'm very fortunate. Your mom was literally bringing in people off the street during the fires? Yeah, I know. She was trying to do that. Hey, it's me, your plumber. You got to stop stuffing paper toilets into the tower, clogging the pipes. It's also crazy. It's also crazy to Like, even if you personally suspected that someone working in my house was undocumented, which is not the case, but even if you personally suspected that, why the fuck would you say that under the Trump administration? Are you insane? Like that's, you didn't think even a little bit about this when you were just like chirping about this on stream? You're talking about people fucking calling CPS to your house, which I think is completely unacceptable. Like, ridiculous shit, right? You didn't consider that, like, that could potentially cause ICE to fucking come to my house? Yeah, they're gonna lock up my fucking mom or the landscaper or anyone with the hopes that they nabbed somebody and then fucking ship them off to El Salvador. Insanity.
Even if these details aren't inherently damning, Ethan is still pushing a narrative to make Hassan seem inconsistent or hypocritical, shaping public perception to fit his own agenda. And then
on Monday, they claimed your parents don't live with you and you probably own multiple houses. Why would I own multiple houses? I live rent-free in his mind, it seems. Even past all this, isn't he in a lawsuit for wrongful termination? Yes, that's why he said that shit. Because the reason why he said that is because, like, he wanted to move the attention from his audience that would have cared about this. His own personal issue. And then turned around and, like, started talking about my family, which I think is fucking crazy. Like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Like, there are unwritten, unspoken rules, right? In even like YouTube drama sphere shit, where like you're not supposed to take it to the Kiwi Farms level. You know what I mean? This is obsessive. This is straight up Kiwi Farm shit. Talk about Hassan, don't talk about his family. Exactly. It just blows my fucking mind, dude.
we also have Ethan endorsing harassment towards Reddit employees and their families.
Or I'll say
There's a reason why I don't, like, I rarely ever bring up my family. I talk about them every now and then, or my private life in general. It's because I already have a bunch of rabid fucking haters. What the fuck? Like, I don't want them to be unjustifiably targeted and smeared and fucking attacked. Like, it's crazy. I can deal with it. Remember when they tried to say your father was a billionaire? They still do. Grok says it too. It's really funny. Someone was like, at Grok, what is Hassan's father's net worth? And Grok was like, Hassan's father has $5 billion. It's so stupid.
Say this. I do want to say Steve Huffman, Jen Wong, Drew Valero, do you think that is? Yeah. Christopher Slow. I would very much not want you to experience how terrible it is to have a snark subreddit digging into you and everyone close to you.
Like, this is, the irony is completely lost on him, where he thinks like, this video basically covering this in sequence kind of exposes the inherent hypocrisy of like his actions, and then how he's like turning around and being like, yeah, I'm going to do that to everyone. Not ever considering that maybe consistently doing that is the reason why a lot of people also come after you in ways that are completely ridiculous and completely unacceptable. This is precisely what I was talking about with the CPS shit, when people were mad at me, when they're like, Hassan, or his audience was mad at me, and I think Ethan was mad at me too, where I was like, I don't think this is even remotely appropriate. I don't think it's remotely acceptable to fucking call CPS on a YouTuber that you don't like. I think it's ridiculous. You're doing harm to the children. I think Ethan's children are significantly better off being with Ethan, regardless of his opinions, regardless of whatever the fuck he's doing. And I would never justify an action like that because I'm not Ethan Klein, is what I said. And people were like, oh, how does he not realize like him bringing up Ethan at all when defending himself is actually the reason why Ethan is getting CPS called on him? It's like, how do you not understand this? My point is, I think consistently fucking obsessively going after every single person every single day is unironically drawing a shit ton of negative attention towards them and their immediate family members. And it's what Ethan is doing every day. And there's evidence for it, like right here.
And organizing harassment in real life and online everywhere you go, because I just don't want that for anybody. It would suck to make a snark subreddit about the leadership of Reddit.
That probably exists the way that you just
think
said
so?
That. I mean,
well, let's
there's
go
nothing
join.
Redditors love more than complaining about Reddit.
I don't think so. I think we might be starting a movement. But if there is one, then God bless. Let's join. You know what I mean? Let's join the movement.
I won't be joining that.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Considering Ethan has a massive platform, he is playing with fire by pointing out specific individuals and entertaining the idea of targeting them.
Yeah, he does. He does encourage harassment. I don't want people to harass Ethan Klein. I've said this time and time again. I don't. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Ethan, on the other hand, does encourage this harassment. Like, there was a dude that rolled up on fucking, what's his face? The Twitch CEO, Dan Clancy. And he posted the clip on his fucking Instagram. You're rewarding people for going out in the real world and just like targeting your enemies, dude. There's a million CEOs that you could be making out to be an enemy before you arrive at the fucking CEO of Twitch, okay? Holy shit. That is insane to me. Like, there are, the words of Bill Burr, there's dudes who, you know, own, there's dudes who privatize water, okay? There's healthcare CEOs out there, and his gripe is with fucking the CEO of Twitch.
The passive
It was a lady, sir. Oh, I didn't watch the video. I just saw.
aggressive justification of saying
Would very much not want you to experience
is an indirect encouragement of scrutiny and potential harassment. With his audience influence, even a vague suggestion can inspire people to take action. Whether
There's like actually anti-Semitic CEOs that own social media platforms. Fucking Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk is now a part of the federal government. He is literally a Sig-heiling neo-Nazi who owns Twitter. Okay? And instead of talking about that guy, you're like, you know who is the real, you know who's a real anti-Semite? Dan Clancy. Why is he anti-Semitic? Because he won't deplatform people that I want him to deplatform, even though he does deplatform them sometimes. But even then, it's not hard enough.
he explicitly commands it or not.
This was sent to my sister today. She's 16 years old. They haven't slowed down. This is the type of shit my family receives every single day.
This is a form of intimidation rather than constructive criticism. Encouraging a mob mentality can incite people to actively participate in targeting individuals. While Ethan and his fans may argue that this isn't doxing because the names were already public, the issue is how he framed it, which is problematic and falls into a gray area of targeted exposure, a form of soft doxing. Just because something is publicly available doesn't mean it's ethical to broadcast it in a way that could lead to harassment. Executives at Reddit aren't the same as celebrities or politicians. They likely don't expect or want their names amplified in a way that could lead to direct targeting on a personal level. Not only does he dox public figures, but he also doxes private individuals. On the 27th of February, Klein posted a picture of the David Starr tattoo. One person wrote, "I used to watch you when you had only 15k subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell." Ethan then went live on his podcast the next day and scrolled through her comment section as content.
I'm obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Look this guy up. Enjoy hell. He said enjoy hell. That's halfway there.
He's not. Oh, yeah.
Yes, he's a real guy.
Him 'cause he's not showing up for me.
Here he is. If anyone, let's see if I know, can identify him at all. Which one's Joe? Let's see. I think it's this guy. No, it is. Here, let me show you. That's him.
Oh.
That's him right there.
Ethan then calls him an anti-Semite.
Trust me, when I see an anti-Semite, I know I can spot him.
Wow.
And indirectly.
Yeah. Well, he says I'm anti-Semitic as well. So
He tells his community to find out where he works and tell his boss and family about it.
I don't know if any of you guys know him, but certainly anyone who would employ him or probably even his parents would be pretty disappointed to see that, although who knows?
This is a clear abuse of power because Ethan is leveraging his massive platform to dox, humiliate, and potentially endanger the private individual over a social media comment. Now, even when the last two words of his comment are not the friendliest of messages, does it justify Ethan's reaction? Ethan knows that showing someone's Instagram profile on a live stream with thousands of viewers invites harassment. Saying, let's see if anyone can identify him is asking your fans to investigate and expose him. And because his audience has a history of dogpiling people he calls out, this makes it an intentional act of incitement. This is a thinly veiled call for his audience to dig up personal information.
it's not even thinly veiled. If you ever did something like this, you would lose 90% of your audience and be banned immediately. Yes. And the very same drama slop tubers that refuse to ever fucking talk about Ethan or only talk about Ethan and defend him because he's coming after people like myself that they hate more than they even hate Ethan would be writing an endless torrent of articles about how I am the worst villain that the internet has ever seen. Now, of course, I wouldn't do that because I think that's fucked up. Okay? Because I think it's fucked up. I think it's wrong. It's wrong to do that. Okay? With great power comes great responsibility. I think that you have a finite amount of time where, you know, you could be doing things, especially on a broadcast. They try to compare you pulling up logs, but whenever you do that, you always, when I pull up logs, one, I tell people not to fucking dogpile. And secondly, they're anonymous. There is no equivalence here. I don't actively go like, oh, I wonder where he lives. Let me go find his fucking place of employment. And also, on top of that, the people whose logs I'm pulling up are people half the time being like, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking head. Like, the fuck? You defended me after me calling me woke of the day? Yes. I don't go after fucking personal details, try to figure out where this person lives, and then actively choose to find their place of gainful employment to get them fired from their job. I think it's very dangerous, regardless of your political perspective, to just like serialize this kind of content, to normalize this kind of thing, to serialize this kind of content. And I don't know. I wish that I wish that they would stop. I wish that he would stop. That's what I've been begging for from the jump. And not because I'm like terrified of his worldview or his opinions or I'm sheltering my audience from his perspective or whatever. It's something that you guys have heard a million times over. I've also openly stated that I would go and I would debate him in person, so we can't fucking clip context in person. And he doesn't want to do that because he knows that if he were to do that, he would look very stupid because, like it or not, aside from this kind of shit that he's doing, he also is not very knowledgeable on the issues he speaks of. And it's not just me. He can have Bad Empanada on. He can shit on Bad Empanada if he wants to. He can have Matt Lieb on. Shit on Matt Lieb if he wants to. There are plenty of people he could talk to that are still significantly more knowledgeable on the issues that he tries to speak out on than himself.
Encouraging his fans to contact his boss and family is a direct attempt to ruin his life over an edgy comment. And what makes this...
The other side of this, of course, is that like I don't need to do much to make him look silly. He's doing that all on his own.
All the more unsettling to a personal level, he begins to look at his mom's pictures, dragging innocent family members into the situation.
Here's his mom. I'm not going to click that for her. I'm not, you know what? F him. This is what you... Here's your mom. I wonder if she knows what you do on social media on your free time. You love your mama. Good thing she's not Jewish, eh, Joe? I love it. I love it. So anyway, best of luck to you out there, Joe. I don't know who you are, but you're a fucking asshole. And shame on you. Yeah.
And look at his eyes at this moment. I mean, this is quite irrelevant, but look at how he is hyper-focused in, with vacant eyes glazed over this guy's mom menacingly. The silent moments are deafening, and that occasional...
I love it. I love it.
It's just unsettling. You could submit that clip for an audition to be an antagonist in a movie like No Country for Old Men, and you would get the role. The original comment, while harsh, is still just an Instagram comment from a random person. Ethan, a multi-millionaire with millions of followers, is punching down hard on someone who most likely has zero power or influence. So this makes Ethan's behavior even more blatantly abusive because he publicly defamed a random person, dragged innocent people into it, incited career and social consequences, and potentially endangered someone's life. This is doxing, and for those that believe it isn't, because once again, his profile isn't private or wasn't private at this moment, you have to understand that Ethan's intent was 100% to expose. Actively highlighting his profile in images, zooming into faces, and identifying persons brings attention to personal details that wouldn't normally be so widely seen. It turns a private individual into a public target. He is actively digging for anything that could identify the person. His crew member managed to identify something recognizable and the location that particular thing is in.
That he's in front of, that's in...
Is that right?
Yeah, it's at the...
This shifts it from casual browsing to an invasive search for personal details. And Ethan is indirectly suggesting to his audience to investigate further. Even without explicitly telling them to harass the person, it often leads to harassment or threats, which is just what happened. Here is a lovely DM he received from somebody.
So shout out to Ethan Klein that my mom, who is an art teacher at an impoverished public school, has to deal with this shit. You are truly the morally superior YouTuber.
See, the power imbalance here also creates a culture of fear. The person he just doxed has below 200 followers, just an average person. Ethan has millions of followers on a variety of platforms. When someone like Ethan calls attention to a regular person like him, the regular person faces unprecedented levels of harassment they're completely unprepared for. At the end of the day, criticism, especially from a random person online, does not justify exposing their identity or opening them up to mass harassment. Ethan has countless ways to respond that don't involve punching down at someone who lacks the same platform, protection, and influence.
Harassment that me and Eli are receiving is just genuinely unfucking comparable.
Ethan constantly fights for silencing his critics and for the removal of free speech. One incident took place when Ethan Klein decided that he had enough of the H3 Snark subreddit. r/H3 Snark is a community on Reddit dedicated to criticizing and discussing Ethan Klein and the H3H3 podcast. It focuses on calling out hypocrisy, controversies, and questionable behavior by Klein and his podcast crew. Members of the subreddit often analyze his statements, business practices, and legal disputes, sometimes with a critical or sarcastic tone. Can you find hateful comments on there? Probably. But you know where I found tons of hateful comments without even having to scroll down much? This place. This freedom of discussing such topics would soon come to an end when Ethan posted this on his Instagram story.
I can't wait till I find out who the snarkers are, because I'm gonna sue them.
He threatened to sue the mods of the subreddit, claiming defamation and harassment.
Listen, guys, at this point, you're totally fucked. Here's the thing. There's a subpoena that's going to come.
You can erase your data. Even if you didn't log in, we're going to get your IP address. We're going to find out your information. We have forensic, digital. It's all part of a lost.
Saying this was a happy birthday cone on is crazy work. It's just like, it's cartoonish. Like, we're going to do forensic data analysis to figure out who has ever said a mean word about me is a crazy thing.
Suit that's going to drop in about 3 weeks.
What is this? I saw a clip that made me feel really sad about the path Ethan decided to go down instead of following what he says in the clip.
I don't want to talk about this whole conflict anymore, really, at all, ever. And I'm frankly also thinking about putting something that I need to discuss with Hassan, but I do feel like I'm probably going to pause leftovers for the time being. You know what I mean?
Okay, Ethan.
Because you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's it. And it sounds like a lot of y'all don't want me to talk about it either.
Fuck. Fair.
So with all that being said, I shall go suffer at home in silence with worms infecting my fucking eye sockets, and I will just sit at home and stare at the wall in silence and in dark.
I think one of the craziest parts about this is that if he unironically stopped talking about Israel, like completely, if he was just like, I can't do this, you are the most deluded human in existence. I hope your downturn continues, bucko. Thanks, bucko. If a perfect victim confronted him, would it be enough to break through? No, I don't think so. My man said bucko, dude. That's crazy. Up yours, woke moralist. Anyway, if he had unironically stopped talking about Israel and like tuned that shit out and just went back to goofs and gaffs, I'm sure that he wouldn't have like kept getting pushback from his audience that were like obviously at odds with what he was saying and were tuning in expecting him to basically like change his trajectory and his commentary on the matter. But instead, he just kept doubling down, KFC double down style every day. You know? And now, it's just like look at this. Look. What happened? Did Asmongold just sign off or something? Is that what's going on? Or the rape apologist who thinks America deserved 9/11. How's your boyfriend Luffy doing? It's like awesome.
That you guys are gonna fucking love. I cannot wait. I am so excited. I am giddy to share this with you guys.
But let's be real. This isn't about justice. It's about control. Legal intimidation isn't a new tactic for.
Wait, we're getting a bunch of fucking silly comments. Hold on. Let's go to YouTube. Where is it? Nope, nothing there. So maybe not. Usually when I get a new flow of comments coming in from a place, like it's either Asmongold or Ethan Klein, but it doesn't seem like he's made a video. Oh, what in the actual he did. Never mind. 109,000 views 47 minutes ago.
Obsessed. What is this here?
Sue him, really. I mean it. Hassan is just angry that Luffy is no longer in One Piece. Just sue him. Problem solved. Yeah, okay. There it is. Never mind. Clocked it. Like fucking clockwork, baby. The moment that I see like insane shit in the chat of people being like, honestly, you're a fucking terror loving piece of shit. I know that like someone made a video, okay? someone made a video. Might have been Ismagal, might have been Ethan. But somebody out there made a video and uploaded it. And then those guys watched a 2-minute video and immediately came in to be like, I'll show you. I'll show you, sir. Let me tell you, okay? I'll freaking show you what's what, bucko.
For Ethan. These are average Reddit users like you and me. Imagine being so insecure about internet criticism that you'd rather use your money and legal team to shut people up instead of just ignoring it, or maybe reflecting upon it. How many random Reddit users have the resources to fight a lawsuit? Ethan Klein, a millionaire, knows this. Even if these lawsuits don't hold up in court, just the threat of legal fees and harassment is enough to silence critics. The type of environment this cultivates is one similar to countries led by dictatorships. Abusing by silencing critics through censorship and intimidation ensures control over the narrative and creates an environment of fear and obedience. He calls out everyone associated with his so-called enemy. People correcting him? That's a no-go in Ethan's world. How dare Ludwig make a correction on a sloppy mistake in Ethan's content nuke video?
Ethan posted a meme screenshot and reversed the order of events. Fucking Destiny fan confirmed. What a fucking lapdog you are. How pathetic can you be?
This shit's crazy, dude. Like, going after Ludwig is especially crazy because he's Mr. Golden Retriever. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Hassan being a terrorist sympathizer, rape apologist, and promoting anti-Semitism. Yeah, that would be crazy if Ludwig was on board with this shit. Except this shit is not real. You made it up. You just fucking made it up.
Any fan confirmed. What a fucking lapdog.
Yeah, I'm sorry that he didn't eat up whatever kind of insane nonsense that you just decided to neatly package alongside numerous other erroneous mistakes, ahistorical approaches, genocide revisionism.
Dog you are. How pathetic can you be to fucking curl up on Hassan's lap like a good pussycat? Purr for him, bitch. What a gutless coward. You really got no problem here? Suck my dick. And by the way, having no problem with terrorist sympathizing, anti-Semitism, but God forbid Ethan gets the order of the rising star wrong. What a dumb fuck bitch. So that's Ludwig for you.
He's a hypocrite, of course, obviously. I mean, who isn't, right?
We all might be a bit familiar with Ethan Klein not liking Hassan. And because he wants everyone to not like Hassan as much as he does, he deliberately misinforms in order to fuel a narrative. One of those narratives that he wants everyone to believe is that Hassan is a terrorist sympathizer. So, in this segment of his content nuke, he distorts what Hassan covers here and also deliberately leaves out some footage.
They take it over, and they tell the people in the ship, usually like mostly Filipino people, Filipino crews, and they're like, all right, well, we got no problems with you, but you're coming with us.
Ethan then criticizes what he says.
What an incredible way to characterize having a gun in your face. Hassan is asking us not to believe our own eyes as we watch terrorists hostilely kidnap the crew.
And claims that they have been...
Why would I not show the video? Why would I show the video and also explain this if I was trying to shelter you from the truth? I would just clip it out of context like Ethan does. I haven't seen this part of the content nuke yet.
MIA for a year.
And once again, the crew is still MIA for over a year. Prisoners to a terrorist organization. But don't worry, guys. Hassan says they have no problem with them.
However, these people did in fact say this to the hostages. And it is not true.
Yeah, the rebels told them in broken English that they weren't pirates and they weren't looking for money. They just wanted to stop the war in Gaza.
That they've been missing for a year without updates, as the kidnappers let the Red Cross, a global humanitarian organization that provides health services and operates in conflict zones, came on board twice by September 2024, 5 months before Ethan's video came out. out. He shows the headline of this article. When you scroll down on the same article, you only need to read a few lines until you see this. The seafarers, some of whom have been at sea for nearly 2 years, have been held against their will with only limited contact with their families, friends, and loved ones. Their location was known and their well-being was kept updated. This information isn't hard to obtain. All hostages were released alive 1 week and 2 days before Ethan published his content nuke, which is plenty of time to fact-check your hardly worked-on information bomb. Why didn't he know or correct it? It kind of
Perhaps because he was omitting key details. Was it because he didn't know and he just didn't do his due diligence before releasing this, incredible video filled to the brim with fucking erroneous claims, misinformation, out of context clips that he didn't even gather himself? Because even on accident, if he had gathered the out of context clips himself, he would have recognized that he would have taken some of those stupid ones out. Spent months on this shit, made the dumbest possible mistake.
looks like he doesn't actually give a shit about the movement itself and is just interested in making Hassan look bad.
Next claim is that it's owned by an Israeli company. It's not. It's being chartered by a Japanese company, and the boat's owners.
Yeah. This was another very funny part of the video where he's like, you don't understand. They're from the Isle of Man. These are Isle of Manders. These are just a lot of, it's a seafaring nation, okay?
Are registered in the Isle of Man.
Not true. It's owned by Israeli tycoon Abraham Ungar. Takes 2 seconds to find that out. Or you can finish reading the screenshot Ethan showed. Ethan is right that the ship is registered in the Isle of Man, but the screenshot he shares states that it's owned by the Israeli tycoon. So, with a few clicks and clacks with a keyboard connected to a computer, a below average internet connection, we've just learned all this. Why misrepresent this? And now that it is declared that Hassan was right after all, what does that mean for Ethan's case?
You want to fucking bring a ship through here? We're going to take it. So that's exactly what the Houthis start doing. And they're like, guess what, dog? No more trade to Israel. If you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. Guess what, bitch? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza.
So let's review his claims. His first claim is that the boat is headed for Israel. It's not. It's going from Turkey to India.
Now that we've caught Ethan misrepresenting facts again, and the ship was indeed owned by 2 Israeli, is it possible that this could have led to speculation about its actual destination, Israel instead of India? And given that tensions in the Red Sea region are high, could it be that some ships with Israeli ties might avoid publicly revealing that they are heading to Israel to reduce security risks? It's certainly a possibility. But is this what Hassan claimed what is happening here? Let's see what Hassan said again.
No more trade to Israel. If you are sending ships into Israel, if you are owned by an Israeli subsidiary, if you're owned by an Israeli corporation, we're going to take over your ship. You cannot fucking use this trade route anymore. Guess what? It's our fucking territorial boundary, and we're going to enforce this until you stop doing genocide in Gaza. It is funny. It is funny that, like, did he put this in the video? People not understand that this directly contradicts what he was saying.
The Houthis stated the Houthis themselves framed the hijacking as a targeting of Israeli.
It's just crazy because it's like I try to the best of my ability, because of the fucking endless sea of naysayers out there, given my position on a lot of issues are not exactly the most popular position, especially as it pertains to American foreign policy. I try to use my words very carefully. No, it's mislabeled. That part wasn't in. Oh, okay. He didn't actually put it in the fucking, he didn't actually put it in the context nuke. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, if that's in it, then obviously people will understand what the context is.